Hi everyone, my name is Eleanor Song. Today I'll be explaining important daily maintenance and special care steps every flute should follow. First, you have the head joint which has the embouchure plate, you have the body which has the rod system and the keys, and finally you have your foot joint which has the gizmo key, aka the rolling key, your C, C sharp, and even your B key depending on whether or not your flute is open, hold, or closed. Now I'll be explaining the daily maintenance steps. After you have finished practicing for the day, you want to separate your instrument into three parts: the head joint, the foot joint, and the body. Now that you have separated your instrument into three parts, you want to take the clean cloth and insert into a long, thin hole at the top of your cleaning rod. This is how you are going to clean your flute. Gently insert the rod into your foot joint and move it back and forth until you don't see any condensation. Do the same for the body of your flute and head joint. When cleaning the interior side of your flute, do not press on the keys because you're putting pressure on your flute, which causes the pads to rip. Pads are small thin layers of wool underneath the keys are extremely fragile. They should be replaced every 6 years or when your technician thinks they're worn out. It's important to clean the exterior side of your flute. To do so, take a microfiber cloth and gently polish the dirty areas on your flute. This will make your instrument look more clean and polished. Every person is different, however, for me, I tend to clean the head joint the most. When polishing your flute, it's important not to apply too much pressure, especially on the embouchure plate. Your embouchure plate is the most sensitive part of your flute because you cannot replace it once it falls off. If this happens, your instrument is now broken and you will need to get a new flute. Hence, gently polish the embouchure plate until it's clean. Try to avoid damaging and denting your embouchure hole because it's extremely difficult to repair. After you polish the head joint, gently clean the body and do not press on the keys or else it rips the pads. After you have cleaned the body, do the same for the foot joint. Also, do not forget to shine the crown, which is a small circular dome at the top of the head joint. I advise you not to constantly unscrew this mechanism because it will affect the intonation of your flute. As you continue to practice, you may notice that dark colored dirt accumulated along the inner rings. Do not worry. This happens to every flutist because it is the sweat, dirt, and dead skin that accumulate as you practice. To clean this, gently take a Q-tip and trace the inner ring where you see the dark spots. You want to swab in a circular motion until they're gone. Take your time when doing this because you do not want the dirt falling into your instrument or else it gets stuck in the pads of your flute. Now, let's discuss a few special care steps you can follow to improve the quality of your flute. Here is a list of materials you will be needing. You can check if your flute has reasonable intonation by checking to see if the cork is in line. Your cork is located in the head joint and is attached to the crown through a long screw-like rod. I recommend you to replace it every 10 to 20 years or when your technician tells you it's getting too dry, hence causing it to move. Currently, I'm not using that cork but using a substitute cork that's called a resonator. It has gold rings that are stacked on it like so. To check if your cork is in line, you can take the bottom of your cleaning rod and insert it into the head joint. If the line is in the center or close to the middle, then your cork is in the right place. However, if not, it's best to take your flute to a technician so he or she can replace the cork in the correct position. I advise you to check to see if your screws are in the correct position once in a while. If your screw is too far out or too loose, it could cause your flute to have this airy-like tone that is similar to a leak. To fix this problem, just screw the loose screw back on and you should be fine. Another special care step I recommend you to follow is applying key oil to the joints so they're not too stiff. This should be applied every 3 to 6 months. The final special care step I advise all flutists to follow is buying cleaning paper. You can use this whenever you have a sticky key in your flute. To get rid of this, take one sheet of cleaning paper and place it between your sticky key and the pad. Gently tap on the key, and when you take out the paper, be careful not to take it out when the key is pressed down. Powder paper is a bit different. However, I would not recommend you to use it as frequently as cleaning paper because it causes the powder to go everywhere inside your flute. Follow the same process as cleaning paper, but make sure to have the powder side up. Also, make sure you keep your flute in a place that's at room temperature. I recommend you to brush your teeth after you eat and before you play. It's not sanitary for the instrument to have bits of remaining food stuck in between the keys. Avoid eating food that has a lot of sugar in it, such as candy, before you play. The acid and sugar in the candy will mix with the condensation in your flute and make your instrument sticky and extremely difficult to clean. I hope you learned something from this video that will help you take care of your instrument. The flute is a gentle instrument and you must be careful with it. Happy practicing!